Now let's discuss working with MIDI clips in the session view. It's very easy to add MIDI clips and write new MIDI parts into the session view, and I'll show you how to do just that. So currently we've been working only with audio clips, and I've added a new MIDI track that I've renamed Pluck Synth, and I found this Pluck Synth patch that I made a while back that I like the sound of, and I just added a little bit of reverb to it. So this is what we're working with. Cool kind of atmospheric sound that I think will fit the track nicely. So to create a new MIDI clip, one way that I can do that is simply go to an empty clip slot on my MIDI track here and just double click, and that'll create a 1 bar long empty MIDI clip, and I can use my pencil tool or my pointer tool and I can start drawing notes in. Another way to do this is to do it in real time and just record the MIDI clip in live, which is what I'm going to do now. So you can see I've got the MIDI track set up, I've got the record arm button turned on, and when the record arm button is on, which it is right now, you can see that where we have stop buttons over here on the empty slots on other tracks, the stop button now turns into a round record button, and if I click that, it's going to play back any clips that I have set to play, and it will create a new clip here, and it'll start letting me add MIDI notes in real time just by playing them on my MIDI controller. It's worth noting, you might notice that my session view has this kind of orange rectangle around it right now. That's because I'm using an Ableton push and I have it turned on right now. So the Ableton push, you can use it to launch clips in session view. So it kind of shows us this grid of where I can launch the clips. So don't worry too much about that if you're not seeing that on your copy of Ableton Live. If you don't have a push, it's not going to show up. So anyway, let's hit record and we'll let some of these clips play. I got 4 of them set up to play right now. We'll hit the record button and I'll play something in. We'll see how this all works. Okay, and then I'll hit stop up here. It'll stop the playback, but it'll also stop the recording. And if we look at my MIDI clip here, I had the record quantization turned on, I believe. The record quantization, yes, was set to 16th notes. So if I zoom in, all of my notes should be quantized to the nearest 16th note. And yes, sure enough, it looks like they are. But you can see I started the recording a little bit late. So I've got some empty space at the beginning. I got a little bit of empty space at the end. We can adjust the start marker and the loop markers just like we can on our audio clips if I want to isolate just the points where I was playing and then kind of ignore or not play the parts where I wasn't playing or the extra points that we recorded there. If I want to just kind of clean this thing up, I can also right click. Once I set up the loop brace like this to remove the empty space at the beginning and the end, I can right click anywhere in the middle of my loop brace, and from this context menu I can select crop clip to clean it up and just get rid of all that empty space. So let's hear what we've got. It's like this one clip, or this one MIDI note I should say, was a little bit late. I'm just going to move that over. Okay, cool. Let's maybe record another part in. So another way that we can do this, create a MIDI clip and start recording into it, is by using this button up here. This is called the session record button, and it's going to do more or less the same thing as we saw when I clicked the round record button here. But when I select a clip slot, so we'll just select this slot underneath, and then I click this button, it'll start playback and it'll begin recording in the session view on any tracks that have the record arm enabled. Now again, this is just for recording clips into the session view. This is literally called the session record button. So I'm going to hit that. It's going to create the new clip here, and we'll play a slightly different part. Okay, so I got a couple of different riffs that I played in there. Notice this time, I just clicked the play button there, and the playhead blinked a little bit on that clip, and then it stopped recording, and then it just started looping the idea back. So that's another way that I can sort of cut out of the recording, is I can click the play button again. That'll stop the recording, but notice it doesn't stop everything else. It kept the other loops playing, and then it just sort of added this clip in. Once it ended the recording. It also ended the recording, this is kind of cool, it ended the recording by quantizing it to my nearest quantization setting. So remember, my global quantization setting is 1 bar. So when I clicked that play button while it was in the middle of recording, it stopped the recording at the end of the nearest 1 bar, and then it just started looping back from the beginning here Now, granted, I had a little bit of empty space there, so we heard 2 bars of empty space, and then my beautiful recording started playing. But that's another way that we can start and stop recording in the session view. The session record button will do the same thing to stop recording. I can use that to kind of cut out of the recording as well, and it'll quantize the end of the recording. Let me just do that really, really quickly here. So we'll pick another clip slot. We'll use the session record. And now if I click the session record, it's going to wait till the end of the bar. Notice how it stopped right there. And then it started looping the idea back around. I could just quickly shorten my loop brace. And this is just a great way to get quick new takes recorded in on a bunch of different clip slots. And then kind of audition, listen back to the ones that you like, and then use the ones that you like best. And we'll end up bringing those into our arrangement. So in the next video, we're going to look at how we can take all these ideas that we've laid down here in the session view that are a little bit chaotic right now and start to record them into the arrangement view and lay them out to turn them into a finished song.